Welcome back to Build a Lot Acres. We're going to be doing a whole series on the pallet extension here for the shed. But today, we're going to be focusing on cutting in a door directly behind me. So don't go anywhere, friends. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is lay out a door. I'm going to end up walling in this whole building, and it's going to turn into a storage area for bikes, probably outdoor furniture, maybe one little garden tractor, I'm not sure, but I want to cut a door as big as I can into this wall. And by the time I get my header in, I think I can get a 6 foot high by about 4 foot wide door. So that's what I'm going to do. So now when I actually cut these, I have to figure out whatever my head is going to be. So I'm going to have about I think a 2x6 header will be good. So I'm going to go up 5.5 inches from my 6 foot line, and that's where I'll actually be cutting my studs. Normally when you're going to cut in a door or a window into a wall, you want to build a temporary wall not too far away from the actual wall to hold the weight so nothing drops or sags while you're cutting. But there's really no weight in this wall. It's a gable wall, and it's a very small gable, and we're pretty much at the top. Most of your weight in a house is going to be on your eave wall, which is where your rafter tails are going to sit on. So if it was a real big gable, we might need a temporary wall, but for something like this, we don't. So let's take out those studs. So for any window or door, there's only a few basic parts. You have your header, which is basically usually a built-up beam, which is going to head off the span and give support for what's above it. Typically, that's going to be made of a couple of 2x and then something in the middle to sandwich it out to make it the correct width. So in this case, I have two 2x6s with a piece of 1/2-inch plywood or OSB board, in this case, to make it 3.5, so it's the same thickness as the 2x4 studs. Usually, you wouldn't use pressure treated on a header like this. Usually pressure treated for ground contact or exterior like a deck. But with the price of lumber, I don't have tons of lumber to choose from, so I'm using what I have. But typically this would be KD or kiln dried, not PT or pressure treated. But again, I'm using what I have. So you have the header, and then you have a king stud, which is going to be nailed to the side of the header, go down to the bottom. And then you're going to have a jack stud, which is supporting underneath the end of the header, nailed into the king stud. So those are the basic components of a window or a door setup. And then if you had a window, you'd have your sills and your cripples underneath. So let's cut out the opening. So there we have it. So I ended up with a fairly decent sized door. It's 6 feet high and about 4.5 feet wide. So what I'll end up doing is casing the outside with 2x4 and then wrapping it with aluminum trim coil, kind of like I did the 9x7 door over there in the shed. In the next installment, I'm going to be putting down the pressure treated plates, the pallet walls, and maybe even starting the roof system. So some of you may be wondering why I just didn't put the door in this section that hasn't been framed yet. Well, it's quite an easy explanation. As the roof comes down, it's going to go lower. My end wall here is only going to be about 5'8" or 5'10", so there's no way I'd get a 6 foot tall door, especially with the header height not counted into that. And with my boots on, I'm about 6 feet, and a lot of my garden tractors with the cabs are close to 6 feet, so I wanted at least a 6 foot high door and able to get a variety of different things into this area.